Profesor dr. René Schmidpeter je v prvi vrsti strastni poznavalec trajnostnega upravljanja in življenja in izredno prijeten sogovornik. Kot strokovnjak za trajnostno področje deluje na širokem mednarodnem nivoju. Je ustanovitelj M3TRIX Instituta za trajnostno preobrazbo, je mednarodni profesor trajnostnega upravljanja, ustanovni direktor Centra za napredno trajnostno upravljanje, bil pa je tudi generalni sekretar Svetovnega inštituta za trajnost in etiko. Je prejemnik mednarodnih nagrad za njegovo delo. Najin pogovor nadaljavo med Ameriko in Nemčijo sem vodila Sasha Mrak Hendrickson.
So, Professor Schmidpeter, sustainable business management, what are the current biggest challenges in companies on their journey to becoming sustainable and remaining profitable?
Yeah, hello everybody. Yeah, we are living in a interesting time right now. We are experiencing a big transformation of our economies, of our societies. And in all those kind of transformations, the mindset we are having is most important. And I think this is also the biggest challenges. We are all educated in the 90s or in the last 2010s, and so we have a mindset which still is from industrialization, from an industrial society. But we are right now experiencing the transformation of our economy from industrial society into a knowledge society, a sustainable knowledge society. And therefore we need a new mindset. And this new mindset is not longer thinking in old trade-offs as we used to do, like the trade-off between profitability and sustainability. It's really about integrating sustainability, and therefore sustainability will become the new profitable. And this is, of course, changing a lot also in the field of sustainability. We are used to have sustainability strategies, sustainability managers, but this was rather an add-on to our normal business models. And now for the new economy, we really need this kind of integrated sustainability thinking, which means we need to develop real sustainable management as an add-in. So we have to add in sustainability to all other managerial functions. And of course, this is really also only possible if we develop a new mindset. And I think this is also clearly indicated by the World Economic Forum already 2 years ago, when they said, this will be the biggest challenge of sustainability. Are we able to reskill all our employees, our management workers, in a way that they integrate sustainability into their subjects? And I think this is, as you asked me, the biggest challenge of sustainability is really an educational question. And therefore we need a lot of educational institutions who are going the way in order to reskill our labor and management.
Yes, I agree, and we will come to that. So, as you mentioned, sustainability in the green economy keep bringing up also new jobs of some we never heard of before, and interesting data. A shift to a greener economy could create 24 million new jobs globally by 2030 if the right policies are put into place, says the International Labour Organization. However, much of the world's workforce is not prepared for changes, like you already mentioned, and lifelong career guidance policies are somehow prepared, but not strongly implemented in many places. If you were a CEO of a large company, how would you address that issue and make sure your employees are better prepared?
Of course, first of all, I myself need to believe that sustainability and profitability is not a trade-off. And I have to believe myself that sustainability is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the business. Yeah, because a lot of companies right now are struggling because of high energy prices, because of the supply chains which are not longer working in a global level. They have to reinvent their business models. And if you can see that sustainability is not contradicting these efforts, but rather a driver for innovation, and you really overcome the old trade-off management thinking, then you suddenly yourself become a strong leader in the field of sustainability. I think this is a key element for all the businesses. But once you experience this new perspective, and if you yourself find a way forward how to transform your business models, your strategies, you need also to convince the middle management, because the middle management for a long time has been educated differently. They were very much looking at efficiency, cost reduction, making your business more efficient. Though now it's not longer about efficiency, it's really about effectiveness. How can we find a common purpose? How can we as business make positive impact for our stakeholders? Those are completely different questions as most of the managers were prepared in the past. So you have to do both. You have to convince your other managers, middle management, but also employees that sustainability is the solution and not the problem. And you also have to provide kind of skills and empowerment so that they can grow. Because of course, not everyone in the beginning is prepared for all those new questions. So we really need to invest in education. We need to form teams. You have to also break up silos within the companies. Though you have not to give all the responsibility for sustainable development to the sustainability department. It's becoming a crossover function in all different departments. And you need skilled labor and people who really understand what they are doing in the field of marketing, finance, HR, but integrate the new dimensions of business, which are social, environmental, but also knowledge dimensions into their business decisions. And of course, for this, you also need to think about a new controlling system, because most of the controlling in the business right now is done by financial KPIs, key performance indicators. So most of the CEOs and board of directors are looking at turnover, profit. And we need much more focus on the soft key indicators, which are not indicating how you're doing today, but how you will do in the future. So it's really about thinking the present from the future and integrating this kind of scenario, new KPIs, non-financial KPIs to your controlling systems, which also then will change the bonus systems in the company, how HR is done, and how you develop your leaders. And of course, it's very important to invest in the younger leaders, in the young professionals, because they, of course, will take over sometime, and they already should be much better prepared than we have been for this major transformation we are all experiencing. So it's really 3 dimensions. Believe yourself, convince others, and invest in controlling systems, but also invest in your young professionals so that they can be ready when the time comes to really also lead the company in the future.
In your experience as a professor and a business leader, to what extent are people even prepared or motivated to adapt or prepare for new jobs, to gain new skills? Because we all know we often resist to necessary changes.
Of course, this is, I think, human. People want to stay in the comfort zone. They want to stay what they know. And we are now living in very uncertain time. And the worst thing what could be happening is that people are getting to fear, that they fear the future, that they are getting in a negative mood. So good leadership is always about giving positive perspectives, how we really can together change the future to the better. And I think this is a very important leadership task. But also the people themselves need to change, of course, their mindset. And this can happening in small things, that you start changing your behavior, that you try to use the bicycle instead of the car to go to work. You start your urban gardening. You try really also to integrate sustainability into your normal behavior. And once you do it, you find out it's fun. It's not scarcity. It's really quite the opposite. It's giving other dimensions to your life. You might start thinking about buying an electric car. You might think about changing all some old habits to some new habits. And of course, the more people do it and exchange ideas and also see it as not only necessary, but also as fun doing it, the more it really becomes natural for us. And I think the most important thing really is that you get this aha effect, that sustainability and profitability, sustainability and having a good life is not contradicting each other. Quite the opposite. It's really enriching. So the more you become sustainable, the more successful you will be in your job. You will also become more profitable as a company. But at the same time, the more profitable you are, the more successful you are, the more you can also invest in further becoming more sustainable and really changing with the society together from, as I said, industrial society, which was a lot of work, hard work, a lot of smoke and steel and so on, to a more sustainable knowledge society where we have more kind of quality time, quality products, and try to really enrich our life by being sustainable without sacrificing having a good life.
Interesting statistic, interesting research saying that only 1 in 3 young people, or 29% of them aged 15 to 30, feel competent in the skills they believe are needed to do jobs that tackle climate change. And it's kind of a surprising because they are more conscious. They even choose their employer based on the employer's value and based on how much employer is going sustainable green, in every sense. And what is your observation of differences between generations?
So my observation is, of course, that younger people already learn about sustainability in school. So that's a subject we, for example, did not have in our school career. But I also experienced that even within schools, there's a lot of potential, because sustainability sometimes is just also an add-on subject. So now we have sustainability. So I think even in school, we need to integrate it in the different classes. Why not calculate in math class, for example, CO2 emissions? Why not integrate it also in the history classes? This all did not happen so far. And I think this is the next step, really, to also integrate sustainability in a normal education from the kindergarten via high school till university degree. And this is also, I think, because we do integrate it somehow, but students still feel the trade-off, because of course in school sometimes they teach sustainability more like you need to sacrifice, you have to reduce, you should not eat meat, you should maybe not drive a car, you should really sacrifice and go a little bit more backwards. And that's of course what the young people don't want. They want also to enrich their life, they want to have fun, they want to really also grow and develop in the future. And that's why we need a different understanding of sustainability, not as contradicting your own personal development by sacrificing, but rather in fostering and also innovating your life by finding good, for example, solutions, entrepreneurial solutions to sustainability. Elderly people, the middle management, as I said, I think with the same arguments, if they realize that they have not to fear sustainable management, they have not to fear that sustainability is making their life more miserable, quite the opposite, that sustainability can help them by grow and further bring their potential to grow, I think then we have made a good job by really bringing a lot of people in a process where they can together change the future to the positive.
What would be your advice to guests and the audience here in the context of promoting lifelong learning and the transition to a green economy? Because as you said, it starts with yourself, putting the entire responsibility onto your employer and expecting everything from your employer to enable you might be a bit too much. It all starts with ourselves. So what would your advice be? Where should they get their education? Which topics should they follow in order to understand more? And how should they prepare themselves to be employable, even if they lack some competences? Nobody is perfect. In the sense that it is more important to try to reduce the gap between old and new competences.
I think this is quite interesting question. The Club of Rome once wrote a book about the limits to grow, as you probably all know, but they also wrote no limits to learn. I think that's the first thing we need to appreciate that there is no limit for our learning. So we can always learn, and by learning we can solve the problems. And I think this is very important, that we should never stop learning. If I were a young person, I would not study an old-fashioned MBA program or a business program anymore. I would really go to those universities who are offering a master in sustainable management, for example, or in circular economy. So I think this is a big advantage the younger people have, that they now have the choice. You know, like 20 years ago, there was no choice, but now we really can choose which kind of business management, strategic thinking you want to learn in university. If I were a manager in the middle age or a little older, like I am, so I was educated in the 90s, I would go for special programs which are offering this kind of integrative perspective. So it's not about that we all become sustainability experts, because not every company has a sustainability manager, and maybe you don't even need one. But what you need is managers who know their subject, who are good in HR, marketing, finance. So all you have learned so far is very valuable and relevant still, but you need to integrate the new dimensions, the social, environmental, knowledge dimensions, to the knowledge you already have. And I think there's already good programs from management educative initiatives, management education by universities, but also by business associations, who are providing this kind of special knowledge for improving your management skills. And I think this is something very valuable for you if you have this, because on the job market, and this is clearly shown, businesses and companies are looking exactly for those people. They are not looking only for sustainability experts, they are looking for good educated management and employees who know how to integrate sustainability in their subject. And I think this will be the way forward, as you in the future also need to have some digital skills, like knowing how to use this kind of video calls and all different cloud computing and big data. We also need to know how to be sustainable in a professional way. And sustainability and digitalization goes together. As I said, it will be a sustainable, digital, knowledge society. So in order to achieve this, I think if you want to stay employable, if you really want to improve your career, you need to have those new basic skills in order to be successful in your job. There's so much question marks still, and so much potential, also business potentials for the future, that I think everyone really should go this way and become a successful leader, manager, or employee, and make the best out of the company he is serving.